Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla, homeschool mom of 5, doula, and just here to share my story and my life. So for starters today, I just want to talk about if you are wanting to have an unmedicated hospital birth, it is totally possible, doable. You've got this. So, I wanted to just share some of the things that I've personally used to help me have an unmedicated hospital birth. My first child was a C section. I had an emergency C section. I shared that in another video of what the whole story of what happened. But after that, I wanted to have a VBAC and I wanted to go unmedicated, but I could not find a home birth midwife that would take me because I had a previous C-section. Even after having a VBAC, I couldn't find a home birth midwife near me that would accept me because of that first C-section. Also, the birthing center closest to my house would not take me because of the C-section. So birthing in a hospital has been my only choice up to this point. Just from where I live, it might be different where you live, but where I live and the people that I contacted, it just was not an option for me to birth anywhere else. So these are the things that I did to help me have my unmedicated hospital births. So for starters, stay at home as long as possible. I literally cannot reiterate this enough. Stay at home as long as possible. So do your research, know the stages of labor, your partner, your husband, have them know the stages of labor so that you're very comfortable and you're recognizing the signs of what's happening and you're not confused or scared. You know what's happening. You know what your body is doing. Staying at home during early labor, even active labor, as long as possible. It is very rare for somebody to just randomly birth their baby in a car or at home. It does happen, but even coming to peace in terms with if your baby's just coming out that fast and you cannot make it to the hospital at that point, then just know the local hospitals, know that the firefighters, the EMTs, they are trained. I don't know, this might not make other people feel comfortable, but for me, just coming to peace with, okay, worst case scenario, my baby comes out, my body knows what it's doing, I can catch my baby. There are women all around the world that literally just catch their babies when they come out. It is not scary. I would say just watch videos of women laboring at home, know the stages of labor, and make a plan. When do you feel comfortable heading to the hospital? I would just really recommend not going in too early. So for me, my second child, my first VBAC, I got to the hospital, but right when you get in the hospital, it's a change of scenery. It's not your comfort place. The smells are different, the lights, the noises, everything. So when they checked me, I'm pretty sure I closed back up. I think I was more dilated, and then when the nurse came in, she was a little rough. The lights were bright. I closed back up, that is a thing. You can be dilated and then close and then have to redilate. So going in too early. So I was at a 2. So I ended up being at the hospital 10 or 11 hours before I actually gave birth to him. And that was hard. It's hard. The tub, the shower, they don't want you to eat. There's a lot of rules. They want to come in and check on you. It's just a lot. So being at home in your comfort space for as long as possible is just going to be your best friend. You're going to feel like you have to fight harder to have your unmedicated hospital birth if you're there for a long time, because the nurses will ask, do you want something for pain? Do you want an epidural? And it's more tempting if it's right there at your fingertips. So stay at home as long as possible. I went on to have my third. I was there for about 6 or 7 hours. My fourth, I was there about 4 or 5 hours. And then my fifth, I got to the hospital. Me and my husband say this was the best ever, but I got to the hospital and had her within an hour and a half. And that was like perfect for us. So I had enough time to get comfortable in the bed, everything. They got my information, and before you knew it, I was pushing, she was out, and it was like, wow, we just got here, but here she is. So that was perfect for us. So yes, I would just recommend stay at home as long as possible. The second thing that I would recommend is bring something from home, a blanket, a pillow. For me, I used my pregnancy pillow. Yeah, like the big C-shape one that you cuddle in the bed with. I brought that, even though it's so huge. It was my comfort. It's what I slept with every night. It smelled like home. It was just so soft, and I brought it in the car, like wrapped it around the car seat, like was just holding it. And once you get to a certain point in labor, you will most likely, I don't want to say everybody, but everybody that I've ever doulaed for and myself, you get to a point where you keep your eyes closed like the whole time, because you're having to focus, and you need to be focused on birthing, on opening, on breathing. So you're just closing your eyes, because then that's just one less thing for your brain to have to take in, all the sensory, all the lights, everything. So you end up just closing your eyes. So if your eyes are closed and you're just holding your comfort pillow and smelling your home, it just, even if you can't be at your home, it smells like your comfort place. So I would just highly recommend bring something from home, a blanket or pillow that you can hold. Yes, I birthed with it, like held it up until literally time to push. And then that's when they took it off the bed. But it was just my comfort. So having something that smells like home. I know a lot of people like to diffuse essential oils or put some on a rag. And I like the rag idea, because if you put it in the diffuser and then you are like, ew, what's that smell? It's going to be really hard to get that smell out of the room after you've diffused it in there. So the rag idea is really good. But to me, there was no better smell than just my home smelling like home. You know, when you're little and you take your, something when you go on an overnight trip, just to smell like home. That was huge for me in labor. The third thing that I would recommend is do not invite visitors. Do not tell people that you are on the way to the hospital. Friends, family, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, mom, dad. No, do not tell them. You are going to need to stay focused on birthing your baby 100%, and your partner, your husband, they need to stay focused on you. And so I've heard people say, and I've witnessed this time and time again, I'm so comfortable with this family member. I want them to know I'm going to feel supported and loved. Naturally, as women, we want to take care of other people. So just knowing that somebody's in the waiting room is going to, even if it only takes 1% of our brain, that's 1% that needs to stay focused on birthing your baby. So it is not worth it. Don't worry about people's feelings or anything in this time. Just birth your baby. If you're truly with everything in you wanting to have an unmedicated hospital birth, you have to go all in and be willing to do whatever it takes to get it done, because birthing it does take all your energy and all your focus. So do not invite people. You can let them know as soon as the baby is here. Also, your partner is going to, because they're not even if you are fully focused and you literally don't care about anything else, your partner is not in that same birthing mindset. They are, but they're not. So they're still very aware of who's in the waiting room. You might have, mom or sister wanting to come say hey. And if they come in the room, I saw this at a birth that I was at, it takes the attention off of you from your partner, and it takes your attention off of birthing. And just the slightest distraction can get you out of that zone and make you start begging for medicine. So I've actually seen this, and it happened with me too. Just don't invite people. It is okay. Have your partner, your husband, and your doula, and that's it. And it just be y'all until the baby's there. So that's just my personal, but I'm telling you that I highly recommend that. Another thing, I wrote these down. Oh, just for funsies, I just wanted to mention this. With all 4 of my unmedicated hospital births, I ate Chick-fil-A. Like when I noticed I was even starting to have the first contraction. So I'm like, that's funny, but also I recommend Chick-fil-A sweet tea. I don't even drink sweet tea, but for some reason when I'm in labor, I'm like, give me this sweet tea and the chicken biscuit, or either the Chick-fil-A sandwich and the sweet tea. I don't know. Why did I forget this one? Have a doula. I've already mentioned the doula being there. I'm just assuming you're going to have one. But if you're wanting to go unmedicated, I am a doula. I'm not trying to sell myself, but also highly, highly, highly recommend. My first VBAC, I had a doula. She walked with me through pregnancy, gave me so much information, so much tips, gave my husband so much information and so many tips. And I was so comfortable with her. I had talked through all of my fears with her, all of my everything I wanted. So having her there was just a reminder of everything that I wanted. It was a reminder of everything we had talked about. She was there to hold my hand, give me emotional support, rub my back, hold my hair back. I was so comfortable with her. And just the level of comfortability you have knowing that there's someone in the room that knows birth really well. So I heard it described like this, that your husband knows you the most intimately, and your doula knows birth intimately. And so together, it's like a powerhouse, because there is a level of just relaxation that can happen when somebody is in the room that you know knows what's going on. Does that make sense? So like you and your husband you're feeling things you maybe have never felt before. Your husband is experiencing and watching you feel things you've never felt before. So there is a level of panic that can happen when the nurse is not in the room. So a doula is not medically trained, but she does know birth really well. And has usually experienced or had her own babies. And so having her in the room just gives you a sense of peace of like, okay, everything's okay. So anyways, I just highly recommend having a doula, having support, educating yourself, and that's a doula does help with that, for you and your husband, so that you know what's going on and you are relaxed and able to focus. So I hope these help. These helped me. I genuinely think these were the biggest thing that helped me have 4 unmedicated hospital births, and just to feel really empowered afterwards. So anyways, I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time.